Hunting is in my family's blood, and for my father Greg and I, it's our whole way of life. This is our playground and these are our adventures.
Oh yeah, baby.
Paddle hard, go right.
Oh, look at that chamois. Is that the big buck? Which one is it? He's going ballistic.
Oh, what's that?
Woohoo, 14-inch bull.
This is NZ Hunter Adventures.
This week we're in the Rohini Ranges. We've bounced our way up the Makarora River and we're heading off on a massive expedition following Te Rohini Ara Neho. Now Neho was the Maori name for Cleanso, William Cleanso, the famous missionary botanist and explorer of the central North Island in the mid-1800s. Cleanso was the first European to cross the Rohini Ranges and this was the trail that he used. So we're going to follow it to the top of the main range and then we're going to detour off north for a couple of days, hunting our way up to Rohini Corner Hut, where we're going to meet Grandpa Dooley, who's flown in by helicopter. Then we're going to have a 3 generations Dooley hunt. From there on down to Cleanso Hut, hopefully load up with venison, send the old boy on out, and then we're going to make our way back onto the Cleanso Trail and head on out to the west coast. So it's a real good hunting forecast, as long as I don't get clagged in. The odd shower, not too much wind, perfect hunting conditions, as long as we don't get whited out.
Must be about 2/3 of the way. Very hot and muggy. A lot of gravy coming out. Ah, beautiful. Te Wai o Kanene, or Waters of Weariness, which was Cleanso's only drinking spot up the ridge before the main range. I think it'd make a good stag wallow come April. We're about an hour from the top and then we're into hunting mode. So we'll just pop over the top and get our binoculars out and see what we can see. Nice still night anyway. We've been glassing for about 15 minutes, haven't seen any deer. Really nice feed slopes up high here. We have seen though the skeleton of a deer carcass down below us, which good to see. Hunters are out and about, but not so good for us. I think we'll probably give it another 10 minutes glassing and then head up along the range. Carry on up the last couple of 100 metres to Te Atua Mahura. "6 p.m, a few hours of daylight left. The prime hunting time, the evening. And low cloud. Murphy's Law. It looks like this cloud's going to come in and white us out tonight, so I think maybe we should get over the top and drop into that next saddle and hopefully get a little bit lower underneath it and be able to look both ways. And there it is, Te Atua Mahuru, which is the highest point on the Cleanso Trail, right on top of the range now. And we're going to detour north. Cleanso went down here to the high point Marapia and then dropped off and down and dropped into the Marapia and Waikamaka River junctions. We're going to go this way, Rohini Corner, and catch up with the old boy. The clouds just lifted enough you can see the backbone of the main range running along here. So that's where we're heading along to. Not that knob, but just shy of that far knob there's a tarn where we're going to camp, in theory, depending on what we see along the way. Not looking too good. 8 p.m. Been glassing for a solid hour, I had a brew, haven't seen any deer. Lots of tracking, lots of sign, but just haven't picked any animals up. We've got about half an hour of daylight left, so we're going to shoot along the ridge further north and try and make camp before dark.
We were disappointed at the lack of animal activity once the fog had cleared to provide us with a good look. But as day one came to an end, our thoughts quickly turned to setting up camp, firing up the jet boils and getting our backcountry meals underway.
It's a bit of a lean start to day one of the Rohini adventure. Yeah, there's November deer, they're not right up on the tops yet. 9 PM, that's not too bad for us. Sunday roast is on the cards. Nice and cosy on the thermarest, and fingers crossed for clear weather in the morning. It'd be a bugger if that fog's still kicking about. Day 2 in the hills is dawned a cracker. Camped right in the spot. Dad's headed north to glass and checked some good slip faces on that northeastern side. I'm just going to pop back south and check some of the faces we're looking at last night. I've got a confession to make, don't tell Dad, but my gloves may have slipped through the cracks when I was packing my gear. Luckily I've got a spare pair of Thorlos which do the same job. Oh, got one. 2. We're in the money. Looks like a hind and a yearling or other 2 spikers just across on this classic feed shingle screen. About 600 yards away. I better race back and get Dad and better get some gear and get into action.
These deer had fed well out into the open to make the most of the extra warmth and new spring growth. Soon Dad and I returned to craft our plan of attack.
So down here and then cut across onto that knob there, what range is that going to be? We get it to under 300, which would be nice for the first shot. That's where we're heading to. Move. Move when I move, stop when I stop. Oh, look at that left-hand one running down. What's happening there? So it's just got our wind. Should we race down? Oh, it's fast. Bugger the wind. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Would you believe they got our wind? There's such a good thermal coming up. We were pretty smelly after climbing that hill last night. There's a thermal coming up here, but there's a nor'west coming over the top, and all I can presume is that nor'west carried our scent down here, and then the thermals carried it back up to them. Back for breakfast, I think. Yep.
Rounding the last corner from camp, Dad was confronted by a yearling hind at only 20 yards. By the time the gun and camera was set up, the deer managed to wander out of sight, unknowingly evading the danger from above.
50 yards from camp, we should have just stayed in bed this morning. Back at camp, having the usual porridge for breakfast. Saw 3 deer for the morning, stuffed them all up, but we're not too concerned because we're still a long way from meeting up with Grandpa. The plan for the rest of the day is to pull camp and just keep hunting our way north. We're just north of the big tarn and I'm looking at some good slip country and we've picked up 3 animals. 12 o'clock, wandering around in the middle of the day. There's a hind, it's about a K away, and then looks like a hind and a yearling about 700 yards away, so they're all safe from us at the moment. We're just going to keep glassing until lunch and hopefully find something a bit closer.
This is NZ Hunter Adventures. As it approached lunchtime on the second day of our trip, the enticement of a grand Rohini watering hole proved too much to resist.
Fantastic looking tarn. Dad and I were here, how long ago? A few years. I think I was 13 maybe. So about 11 years ago, and Dad left his favourite shirt here on the tarn after a wash. Settling into camp, gonna have lunch and then head further north along the ridge and look for an animal tonight before this clag rolls in. Wow, we had a bit of a false start after lunch. It's a good old-fashioned pea super. We're sitting in camp for a good hour and a half. We've come out on the hill, 5:40 PM. We're just gonna wait, see if it clears. We've only got about 20 metres of visibility, so no good at the moment. Yeah, copy.
There's a yearling sitting on the ridge just above that slip you guys were watching. The clouds just cleared briefly. Get over here quickly.
Roger that, on our way.
On those little tusky bits. Yeah, it's still there. The middle little tusky bit is still there. See it? The middle little tusky bit.
Yeah.
When you're ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, safety's going off.
Okay. Squeeze it off. Shot, Willie. Good shot. Right in the shoulder. Down she goes. Good shot, Willie.
Oh, that's what we needed, that clearance in the cloud.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Grab the hounds and head down through the leatherwood to find it. Oh joy.
And look, the cloud's rolling right back in again. We just got the clearance we needed.
After double checking we had the correct ridge on the Garmin Rhino, we were back on our way.
Something else that Cleanso's named after. We can't blame him for it, but Alleria Cleansoi, leatherwood, or tupari is the Maori call it.
Alright. Dogs are first to find it. Beautiful eating yearling. Alright, so butchery time with the Leatherman. We're going to make a hindquarter backpack with 2 pack straps, and then that means we can carry out the hindquarters whole and the meat can chill on the bone overnight, and then we'll whip off the back steaks and have a look at the front shoulder meat for sausages. Here's our 2 pack straps, and now for the back steaks. Alright, on with the pack. Up the hill back to camp for some dinner. The hindquarter backpack was a pleasure to carry. We worked our way up through the wet leatherwood and had a bit of rain, but now we're back in camp, a brew in hand and a homemade peanut brownie which Dad managed to smuggle into the trip. So all is well in the world, and we'll see you guys in the morning.
Well, so much for our 7 o'clock start. It was still raining when we woke this morning, so we didn't really rush out of bed. Cup of tea, porridge, boned out all the venison, dogs have eaten all the scraps. We're all loaded up. Head north, catch up with the old boy at Rohini Corner.
just making our way around to the Portai Peak drop off, and we've spotted it. Looks like a velvety stag, about 500 yards away on the grassy slope here. It's started to clear up as well, so looking good. This is so typical of high country stags this time of year, even though in a lot of places people think this is summer and they should be in their summer coat. This is the last day of November, or first day of December, I'm not sure which, or sometime, the end of November, and he's still well and truly in his winter coat. And these high country stags that aren't under the bush a lot of the time, they get very bleached in colour, like you could almost mistake them for a wapiti if you didn't know better. That's just because that winter coat's had a lot of sun, a lot of rain, a lot of bleaching going on right through. And by Christmas he should be in his summer coat, which is more of a bright red colour. That's where red deer get their name from, their summer coat, not that one.
We've just come over the top of Tupari. We've come down Tarn Top and we're dropping down the track that goes through the saddle and up over onto Potai Ridge. About 20 minutes north towards that blue sky, and then we'll be out in Mongahani Plateau and catch up with the old boy.
While Dad and I slogged our way north, Chris Cross of East Kawaki Helicopters picked up the valuable goods, our most senior member of the trip, and began a swift approach to Rohini Corner Hut.
It's taken us about an hour to get down off the tops through to Potai Peak, and hopefully it won't be too far now and we'll hit the tussock and round to the hut. There it is, Rohini Corner Hut. So named because it's right in the corner of the Mongahani Plateau, which is this large flat area of land here which was filled in within the Taupo eruption. And we're right on the edge here when it goes back into the Rohini Forest Park. So you've got tussock this side, bush that side. Anyway, let's shoot on round there and see if the old boy's there. We think we heard a chopper about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour ago, so with any luck he's there. Got a brew on, and I'm thirsty. Anybody home? Oh yes.
Oh, hi guys, welcome to Rohini Corner.
You had the easy way in, Grandpa.
Yeah, how did it go?
No, it was good. It was good. We had an interesting night on the range last night. Saw a few animals here and there, a bit of success, and a very pleasant wander down through the forest today. So.
Well, just as well I wasn't in the bog, you'd have probably started sending out a party for me.
We would have just got a brew on, had something to eat and waited for you to come back. Yeah. All right, time for a brew, snack, and then you can see a very tempting looking hill over there. So.
Looks tempting to you. I'll tell you later.
Oh, it doesn't look like too bad a climb.
All right.
This is NZ Hunter Adventures.
We've had a brew and now we're heading for one of the best hunting spots in this general area, and that's Black Hill.
Good day there. I'm Ralph Julie, Greg's dad and Willie's grandfather. The boys have got me out of my retirement to do this 3 generations hunt, and I'm really looking forward to a few days of something I've not done for a long time.
Amazing power left in those old legs. This is the way, definitely, up this ridge. Ooh. Pushing a half, a good strong third. Willie's going ahead to find some deer, so we'll have a rest. All right.
We made it! Look at that view. I shot ahead from the guys and I've been glassing this bush edge down here, and nothing so far, and the clouds rolling in. Half an hour of daylight left. Not looking good for Grandpa tonight. Can't get Willie on the radio, so we better go and catch up with him. He should have turned it on if he'd seen something. Just ducked over to the best lookout on this grassy edge, and there's a pig carcass, a dead pig carcass in the middle of the face. It looks pretty fresh, so not the best start. How much daylight we got left? Oh, probably 20 minutes. I think we've pretty much run out of filming light. Alright, time to pack up, pull pin, wander back in the dark to camp, and then some nice hot backcountry for dinner.
After an unsuccessful hunt and a lengthy 2-hour slog in the dark back to camp, Grandpa's spirits remained remarkably high, and we reassured him that our luck could only improve from here on in.
Grandpa deserves a cuppa, courtesy of the jet ball. Roast chicken. There's another cracker. Smoked fish pie. Jeez, we must be getting desperate.
Backcountry is going down beautifully.
Well, here's the Black Hill. We got there one way and another with the help of my friends, and got back again, which is even more important. We're going to hit the sack, so I hope tomorrow will be another day and perhaps another deer and a bit of meat for the fridge. Yeah.
We're up at Sparrows the next morning and she's clagged in quite a strong wind. But we're all packed up and we're going to whiz down to the top of the blue slip, eh, Grandpa?
Half an hour south to the top of the slip, breakfast, spotted deer. We'll be in the money, Grandpa. The blue slip is a hunting hotspot in this area and got its name from Papa, the blue soil exposed by the slip.
You can see in front of you here is it's about probably 600 metres, 600 yards to the bottom, and it's what we can see of it is probably a good 600 wide as well. And then there's more little pieces off to the side, particularly as we go down towards Potai Peak. I'll leave you to look. Keep a light eye out over this stuff, Willie. I'll shoot round and check that next piece and keep in contact via radio. Oh, that's got to be one. Copy, Dad, you're reading me over.
Yeah, copy.
Hey, who's got the spotting scope? Did you take it with you or is it here? I'm pretty sure I can see one. Just something doesn't look quite right. Looks like it's sitting down below us in the flags over.
You've got the spotter. It's in my pack.
You're not going to believe it. You wouldn't read about it. Copy, Dad. You there? You're not going to believe it. It's another dead carcass.
No, I hardly guessed that. In fact, I think I can see one from that lookout back behind me. I'm pretty sure I can see a dead carcass off there. It'll be the same one you're looking at.
Roger that. Time for breakfast. Porridge is ready, boys.
With a full stomach, it was decided to continue with our journey as time was getting on. Grandpa's probably wondering where the family went wrong. We saw more dead deer, 3 dead carcasses down on these faces in live deer. I saw a young stag and a yearling just briefly, but nothing close enough for a shot. We're now going to head down the ridge, down to Cleanso Hut, and Grandpa thinks he might make it there for a late lunch.
Well, we're at the point of no return now, so no going back. The chopper won't be coming now, so press on and one foot after the other. Hope the old knees will follow the feet.
After clambering around the rock formations of Portai Peak, we slowly began our descent, heading for the Mangatera River.
Well, hopefully we've finished the worst bit for poor old Grandpa's knees. A 2-hour downhill slog, man, that was hard. We've had lunch, and now we've got the last K wandering down Portai Creek. It sounds scenic, let's hope it is.
Once we get to the hut, we'll be back into hunting mode. That's what we're here for, Grandpa.
No, what's going to happen is, when we get to the hut, Grandpa's going to go and sleep, we're going to go out and scout and find a nice, easy one for him somewhere, and then once we've got one somewhere, somewhere we can get him to, then we'll see what happens. It's starting to open up. There was just a gorge right there, wasn't there? Across up there.
Although unquestionably determined, Grandpa's knees ensured that travel was incredibly slow, and as the hours ticked away, we soon found ourselves battling all elements in the dark on the last push to Cleanso Hut.
There it is, Grandpa, the hut! 12:08, 8 minutes past midnight. We left Rohini Corner at 6 o'clock this morning. And we got to Cleanso at 10 past midnight. Just because you're old doesn't mean you can't do it.
Oh, cracky NZ Hunter. Seeker by bow. Everyone's feeling fairly shattered now. It's been a long, long day. I thought we may have killed Grandpa coming right down the hill today, but he's passed with flying colours. Yeah, a bit disappointing on the deer front. We bumped into a stag on the river flats. It got too dark, and then a wet trip up to the hut. And it's now after 1 AM, so tomorrow's another day and we'll see what the morning brings. This is NZ Hunter Adventures.
Woke at 7 o'clock and there's no rain on the roof, so kicked everybody out of bed. Bowl of porridge, cup of tea, and then we're going to get out and hopefully try and find some deer. After all that wet weather during the night, there's some nice clearings just across the other side of the river, and there's a great sort of flaxy, grassy, slightly open layer right around this rim rock above the lake, where with any chance we might be able to find a deer, particularly if we get a bit of sun come through.
There it is, the beautiful Lake Cleanso. It's quite unique apparently because it's totally isolated from all the other rivers and streams. It's an isolated little hole. It's only got native species in it. There's no introduced things like trout or anything like that in here, but although we did see a big fat mallard drake. He flew in though. Good to see. Okay, let's head back round and get up top where we can look across. You boys could scream off ahead around and cut up the unknown track, get up to the lookout. Cool. The cameraman and myself have shot up about 2/3 of the way up the unknown campsite track, and it's giving us a good look into all the clearings and slips down by Lake Cleanso. I've got Dad on radio, so Dad and Grandpa are down there, and if we see an animal, we'll radio them and try to get Grandpa up here, but it's a long way and fairly steep up this track.
Copy, Dad drew me over.
You copy.
I don't think it's wise busting Grandpa's ass all the way up here. Haven't seen anything. There's some good slip country, but nothing.
Yeah, Roger, we'll just stay on the flow and hold. We can see a little bit from here.
Roger that, I'll give it another half an hour and then probably come back, catch up for lunch at the hut. Copy, Dad, copy, Dad.
Yeah, copy, Willie, I got you.
You're not going to believe it, we're just shooting back to come back to the hut and we stopped at the first lookout up the ridge, and there was a spiker sitting in the clearing at 200 yards, and then another one shot through below it, and there was a third deer in the background, so 3 deer.
Isn't that just typical? Grandpa and I should have carried on instead of turning around.
Well, that is bloody typical. Grandpa and Dad had gone back to the hut. And we were just coming down, we're giving up all hope really. And there was 3 deer, turns out 3 deer on this bottom clearing. Anyway, we better fly, get back to the hut.
We've had lunch and we're loaded up with all our gear, and we're going to head back and set up a fly camp on the ridge where the boys saw the deer this morning. Rather than stagger poor old Grandpa there and back each day, we're going to camp right on the spot until we can get the animal. The only thing that's not playing the game is the weather. It's really set in, but never mind, we've got flies and we've got tents, and with any luck we'll be back shortly with more fresh venison. This rain's made the track a little slipperier. Just about as wet inside from sweat as I am outside from rain, I think. So, just as well I made you take those long johns off and all those extra layers of shirts. And 10 yards to go. Probably not even that. 10 yards to go.
You have to be lowering me down on bloody ropes.
Right, well this is the lookout, so now let's see if we can find somewhere to camp. Oh well, we've got our wet weather camp set up. The rain's eased off a little bit and we've got maybe a couple of hours max of daylight left. Willie's shot further up the track to the next lookout. I'm going to shoot down to this one and we'll keep in touch by radios and see what we can find.
Right, we've just come up from the fly camp to a vantage point further up the ridge where Willie's been glassing the area down below towards the lake, and we'll be here probably until dark for another 40 minutes or so, see what it brings. I shot my first deer in the mid-1950s up the gorge stream at Pātoka, up on the Don little peak there. Since then I've knocked a few over the years, but I haven't been what you'd call a real full-time, full-on hunter, but Greg's caught the bug very early on, and he's gone from there, so there's no doubt about it. The bug really got into him.
With only 10 minutes of daylight left, an animal was spotted from the bottom lookout.
See the deer? It's in the middle of the clearing, in line with that white bush, level with the base of the cabbage tree. Got it? No. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, I'm alright. Gee, I'm bloody shaking like a bloody leaf. Just relax. Now, don't touch it yet. Are you happy, Willie?
I'm ready.
Are you happy, Sam? Okay, we're going to take it now. When you're ready, Father, just squeeze it off. Good shot. Absolutely drilled it. Good shot. Absolutely drilled it. Great stuff right there. So all that slogging your guts off for miles up and down hills up here in the rain today, and there it is. We can go back to the hut now.
Well done, Grandpa.
Hey, well, get eye, Grandpa.
Grandpa the sharpshooter. Well, Grandpa's now on the board with that brilliant shoulder shot. Because it was shot through the shoulder and because it's cooling right down, we're going to leave the animal till the morning and the venison will still be fine. We're going to have a good look here in the morning off a couple of these other lookouts, and then we'll pick up the deer and head back to the hut tomorrow.
And they reckon it's only a couple of 100 yards from the track. I think, yeah, right. But I think a dozen of bear, I might be able to bribe one of them to go and collect the meat for me.
This is NZ Hunter Adventures.
Well, we woke to whiteout this morning, so we rolled back into our sleeping bags and had to sleep until nearly 8 o'clock. Now we've got the porridge on the go. Grandpa's had his first coffee for the morning. Hopefully that'll lift a bit later on and we'll get another hunt in.
The bottom lookout had produced once again, with a curious hind being spotted a mere 50 metres from the previous night's animal. With Grandpa on his way back down to join us, it was all going to rely on whether the deer would hang around long enough. Unfortunately, the hind sensed something was up and ghosted off through the back of the clearing. But the action wasn't over for Grandpa, as Dad had soon spotted another animal back up at the top lookout, bedded down in the morning sun.
Do you reckon you can shoot him in the neck? Yeah, base of the neck. There's a little bit of wind at the moment. We'll just wait a minute, just relax. So it'll probably blow the bullet a good inch to the right. Okay, I'm closing the bolt. Don't touch the trigger, finger off the trigger. Okay, everybody ready?
I'm ready.
When you're ready, Grandpa, the base of its neck. Great shot! Unbelievable shot! Oh yeah, you flinched all right. It absolutely just nailed it.
The sniper strikes again.
Next shot at 200 yards, crikey. Well, now that Sniper Grandpa shot a second one, I think we'll call it quits. So we'll get back, pack up camp, get down the bottom, and then we'll send an advance party up the valley to recover that one. And we'll get Grandpa up to the one that he shot last night, and we'll get some photos with that one, and then head back to a big celebratory night at the hut, eating home baking and a big fry-up, sausages, I don't know what else we've got there, whatever luxuries Mum's put in.
Once we hit the main track, we dropped our gear and set off to collect Grandpa's deer.
Because I used the sight and go feature from up on the lookout to log in the direction and the horizontal distance to where the deer was to create a waypoint, we're now just able to use the where to feature on the Garmin Rhino to take us straight to us. It's about 170 metres in that direction, or yards actually to be precise. Very close now, just up here, 10 yards away. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, good dog, yes, good dog. Good dog. Oh, it's a big animal. Big heavy animal.
There it is. Well done, Grandpa.
Thanks,
Good
Will.
stuff.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
stuff.
Well, there's one disadvantage of not getting down here last night is there are a few blowies around, but at least this morning we're able to get another deer and we're happy with that.
Too right, Grandpa. I'm going to take you up on that offer of that dozen of beer, so I'm going to go
No.
get your other deer and meet you back at the hut.
Go to it, Will. Go to it, boy.
See you in a couple of hours.
Yep.
Good dog. Good dog. Yeehaw, Grandpa strikes again. Yeah, copy that. You can tell Grandpa Ali's just led us to a second deer, so all is well. We'll butcher it up, backpack it, and see you in a good hour and a half. Gonna make 2 straps again, backpack the hindquarters, and the cameraman will carry the back stakes and the forequarters in his pack. Should be pretty good eating, this one. Alright, prime venison's on our backs and in our packs. We're now going to head back to our backpacks, then back to camp. Let's go, dog. Ellie.
This might be difficult to believe, but probably about 20 years ago, my wife and I went the vegetarian way for health reasons, and that's how we've been ever since. But I still enjoy the hunting experience, and I fully appreciate that there's a need to hunt animals for various reasons, but one of which is to keep the freezers loaded up at home, and for that reason we've got no qualms about shooting an animal out in the wild for the family food and that sort of thing. The experience of hunting is something that is difficult to explain, but it's still something that I really enjoy.
Oh, you made it, Grandpa.
Doesn't mean the grub's ready.
Those snarlers ready? I just realised Grandpa's eating sausages. Are we allowed to show that on TV? Nanny be after you. There was a special feeling in the hut that night as we reflected on how lucky we were to have 3 generations of our family out in the bush doing what we love.
It's the last day of our expedition, and Willie and I are on Shank's pony, all the way from here out past Lake Cleanso, up over the top and down to Ironbark, joining up with Cleanso's preferred route up over Mokai Patia and out to the Mokai Road end. Whereas Grandpa, he's getting the kerosene taxi, up and over the top and straight out to the truck. But the advantage of that is he's carrying a lot of the weight and a lot of the gear and all the venison out. So all Willie and I have got in our packs is a bit of lunch gear and our camera gear, so should be a speedy trip. I reckon 6 hours, we're running a sweet state.
Across to Ironbark Hut, which marks about halfway.
So this is Ironbark Hut, which is our last stop on the way out. We're now back on the Cleanso Trail. From here we go up over the Mokai Patia range and out to the Mokai Road end. And you can see it's a very quiet hut with nobody at home.
Where are you boys from?
Palmy Boys High, Year 10 school camp.
Alright, catch you later.
See you later.
Yeah.
And there you have it. That would have been Cleanso's first glimpse of the Rangatiki Valley in Awarua, the little Maori settlement that he was going to visit down there. So we're now on probably about the highest part of the Mokai Patea range where he would have come over after he dropped down off the main range and down the Puketaramia Ridge and then down into the Marapia River, up over the Mokai Patea, down to Awarua. Let's go.
The old gravy's turned to cold gravy.
It is a great time. Very good
Beat us
time.
back, Grandpa. Beat us back.
This is the end of our journey at the site of the old Maori village of Awarua on the western side, where Cleanso began his first successful crossing of the Rohinis in 1847. I'd have to say I think the route probably over the ranges is a little bit easier now than it was in his day.
Well, that's the wrap for this week, and it's been great to be here. We'll see you next week, and don't forget that at 82 you can still get out in the hills.
A huge thank you must go out to our loyal family of sponsors. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to bring the beautiful New Zealand backcountry and the majestic animals that roam it into your living rooms every week. We rely on their products to perform out in the field, so you can be assured if we're using it, it's good gear that will stand the test of time. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and be sure to grab a copy of the latest NZ Hunter magazine, the Bible of Hunting in New Zealand.